Well, what makes me a prepper is when the elites who I know personally are building bunkers to keep them off the grid for 10 years, and this started 2 years ago.
Whoa. 10 years?
Yep, 10 years, my friend.
Like a 10-year food supply?
Yep, between 3 and 10 years. The lowest one I've seen is a 3-year prep, off the grid, off the range, completely from remote mountains to remote islands. And these are big money people that have information at the top level. And I could talk to you about it offline, Mike, but they're prepping. And
okay, well, now I have to talk to you about this offline, but what can you say publicly, if anything, about what are the broad concerns that would, why would a wealthy person bother to stockpile a decade of food?
Because for whatever reason, whatever's being planned, infrastructure-wise, I think that the system's going to go down. I just do. Because I would not, if I'm an elite and I have all the resources in the world to go buy whatever, I got private jets, everything else, why would I prep at that level? What is it? I always say, what is it you know that I don't know? It's
right.
No different than being, I was January 5th and 6th, I was down at the Capitol, right?
Breaking news. The Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore collapsed after being struck by a container ship. The incident happened this morning, Tuesday, March 26th. At about 1:30 a.m., the U.S. Coast Guard and local first responders are currently on the scene in the Patapsco River. The Baltimore Fire Department has now declared this a mass casualty event as there are reports of vehicles in the water. Divers are in the water searching for people as 20 are confirmed missing, but that number could change quickly. So far, 2 have been pulled out of the water and 1 is in critical condition. The ship, named Dali Nai Lund under a Singapore flag, was piloted by 2 and heading to Colombo, Sri Lanka as its final destination. The pilots and all crew are all accounted for and uninjured.
So does the Oracle of Omaha, Mr. Warren Buffett, know something that we don't know? And the reason why I say that is because he's been selling billions of dollars of stock through his holding company, Berkshire Hathaway. What the heck is going on? You guys can see right here, Warren Buffett's firm, Berkshire Hathaway, has sold $28.7 billion of stock in the first 3 quarters of 2023, in a move that some economists have interpreted as ringing alarm bells for the American economy. So Berkshire sold a net $10.4 billion of stock in the first quarter of the year, and in the second quarter they sold $13 billion of shares and bought less than $5 billion of shares, and in the third quarter they sold about $5.3 billion worth of stocks. Honestly, I'm not sure about you guys, but to me it seems like Buffett is getting ready for either a recession, something that's going to cause stock prices to come down massively, so he can, well, maybe buy a company outright with this cash, maybe buy a lot of stocks at cheaper prices. Something is brewing here, guys. What do you think? Follow along for more.
At this one now, yeah.
He's like, I'm at the West Hall. We are literally driving to the Central Hall right now in the Tesla tunnel. We literally just got in. I saw your photos that I'm going to laugh because you said I just got here. We're leaving.
We lived here 5 years and I've never been down here.
Well, this has only been open since January of 2021.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense. I'm like, how did I miss that? I know that's my seat.
Like all the custom builders. Hi, at least you're
What's the purpose for this besides what we're doing right now?
So technically we're just a transportation service for the convention center. Eventually we will be a transportation service for the city to an extent. Because after SEMA last year, we did get approved for 30 more miles of tunnels to be put in. Resort World was our first expansion onto that. I do believe Encore is going to be our next. But eventually when it's all said and done, we'll be going up and down the strip, down the Fremont Street.
This tunnel?
Well, not this one specifically, but like more expansion.
Okay.
A few other off-strip locations, Allegiant Stadium, and even up to the airport.
Wow. That's dope.
This reminds me
Reminds me of Universal Studios.
I wonder why.
A little bit.
Are they going to turn it into a train versus cars?
So cool.
No, not that I know of. I do believe it will always be Teslas down here. The one you may be
More than half of the U.S. could face dangerous blackouts and outages this winter. Regulators from the North American Electric Reliability Corporation say the nation's power grid is not up to the challenge of rapidly rising energy demands amid increasingly severe winter storms and extreme cold. The strain could cause the system to snap, setting parts of the country up for a repeat of last year's energy emergencies.
Thanks, Admiral. There was some reporting overnight that the U.S. is planning for mass evacuations of Americans if the war were to spread. Can you kind of give context of how likely you guys are viewing that scenario and whether this is very top-level planning or if there's some sort of granular detail that you guys are going into on this effort?
I won't go into granular detail on operational planning one way or another, but it would be imprudent and irresponsible if we didn't have folks thinking through a broad range of contingencies and possibilities, and certainly evacuations are one of those things. I mean, there's not a place in the world where the Pentagon doesn't have contingency plans on the shelf. May need updating, but have them on the shelf to help with the evacuation of American citizens. And given what's going on in the Middle East right now, I think it's perfectly reasonable. I think it would be imprudent and irresponsible if we weren't doing some kind of contingency thinking. But we're not at a point of execution right now. And there are still plenty of opportunities, for instance, even in Israel, for people to get out. We're still doing contract charter flights, and there's still commercial flights going in and out of Ben Gurion. And frankly, the demand signal for our contract charter flights hasn't been very high. They're still going, but they're not all filled. And the same could be said for places like Lebanon. But each country's different, and the threats and challenges in each will change over time. And we're doing all the right prudent thinking that you would expect us to.